just when fans thought the drama was finally wrapped up. After Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban's quiet split, a brand new name slid into the story. And yeah, it flipped everything upside down. For months, their separation looked smooth, almost classy. According to a verified Reuters report, September 30th, 2025, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban officially separated after 19 years of marriage, calling the decision mutual and respectful. On the surface, it sounded like calm closure, no mess, no chaos. But people close to the couple say the vibe behind the scenes was nowhere near chill. Friends describe a wave of confusion and straight-up heartbreak, as whispers started floating around about what really caused their sudden ending. Was it just two people slowly drifting apart? Or was there something deeper Nicole had kept locked away from the public eye? Because according to fresh reports, the reason for their silence might have everything to do with a story nobody saw coming. And what Nicole may have recently discovered reportedly left even her closest circle completely stunned. Subscribe, because the truth behind this twist is only just starting to come out. Section 2: The perfect couple that fell apart. For nearly 20 years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban looked like the gold standard of Hollywood love. From red carpets to award shows, they were glued together, two megastars who somehow made fame, family, and real affection work in an industry where most relationships crash and burn. Fans loved how openly they praised each other, how Keith credited Nicole with saving him during his darkest struggles, and how Nicole once said she still got butterflies every time he walked into the room. But as time passed, cracks started creeping in. Behind those glossy photos, Keith spent long stretches on tour, sometimes thousands of miles away. He admitted in past interviews that the loneliness of the road hit hard, while Nicole's movie commitments, often overseas, meant their lives were rarely in sync. They tried to make it work, but packed schedules, distance, and non-stop public pressure slowly pulled them apart. So when the divorce papers finally surfaced, citing irreconcilable differences, it sounded clean and almost routine, just another Hollywood ending, right? But those two simple words covered up a much deeper truth. Because sources close to the couple hinted the real issues weren't just about timing or distance, they were emotional, personal, and tied to something neither of them ever planned for. And while the public assumed it was just love fading out naturally, whispers started spreading that maybe someone else was involved. But what if those differences weren't just emotional? What if they had a name? Section 3: The moment everything changed. Every love story has that turning point, and for Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, it happened quietly, long before the headlines caught on. According to an exclusive People magazine report, Keith Urban had already moved out weeks before the public even knew they were separating. To the world, it felt sudden. To those close to them, the distance had been building for months, emotional first, then physical. Nicole reportedly fought hard to save whatever was left, leaning on friends and family while trying to keep her household together. People around her said she was heartbroken, but composed, focused on protecting her children from the noise. Keith, meanwhile, seemed restless, spending more time on tour, lost in music, and pulling further away from home life. He told interviewers that life on the road keeps me grounded, but fans noticed the shift. His once bright energy felt heavier, his lyrics darker. By the time the split became official, they were already living in completely separate worlds. Nicole's friends described it as a slow unraveling, not one explosive argument, but something that hurt just as much. And as rumors swirled, one name started echoing through Nashville circles, connecting dots nobody wanted to say out loud. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone already in Keith's orbit, young, talented, and rising fast in the same country music scene. Because just as Nicole was stepping back, another star seemed to be stepping closer. And that's where the whispers around Kelsea Ballerini first kicked off. Section 4: Enter Kelsea Ballerini. At just 25, Kelsea Ballerini had become one of Nashville's brightest young stars, confident, charming, and on a serious roll. Her songs about heartbreak and independence hit home for millions, and her collaborations with country legends locked her in as industry elite. Still, nobody expected her name to suddenly be linked with Keith Urban in stories that had zero to do with music. It all started pretty innocent, shared stages, backstage pics, friendly vibes that felt strictly professional. Keith and Kelsea had performed together before, and their chemistry was impossible to miss. Fans loved their duets, calling them electric and effortless. But once Keith's separation from Nicole went public, that same chemistry started raising eyebrows. Online forums went wild. Social media users clocked similar captions, matching outfits at events, and overlapping tour appearances. The coincidences stacked up, and so did the curiosity. To be clear, neither Keith nor Kelsea confirmed anything beyond friendship. But that didn't stop fans or tabloids from speculating. Music blogs ran headlines about the two growing close, and spending more time together. And while many brushed it off as gossip, Nicole's silence spoke louder than words. Those close to her said she wasn't angry, just quietly processing everything she was hearing. Because sometimes it's not what people say that exposes the truth, it's what they don't deny. Before long, whispers turned into headlines, pulling Kelsea straight into the center of the storm. But one specific moment, subtle, but powerful, convinced fans there might be more to this story than coincidence. Quick pause, loving the story so far? Hit subscribe, more jaw-dropping Hollywood twists are coming up next. Section 5, Whispers turn into headlines. By early October, what started as low-key gossip exploded into a full-blown media frenzy. Music blogs, fan pages, and entertainment outlets began reporting that Keith Urban and Kelsea Ballerini were growing close following their recent heartbreaks. According to a Music Times report, October 8, 2025, multiple sources claimed the two country stars had been spending increasing time together, and were spotted getting close at several Nashville events. To some people, it sounded pretty harmless, just two artists vibing and bonding over shared experiences. But to others, it felt like something way more personal might be cooking behind the scenes. And of course, social media detectives did what they do best and got straight to work. They started spotting similarities, a Nashville skyline here, a matching guitar case there. Then the comments rolled in and got real speculative real fast. Are they working on a song, or something else? One fan asked. And honestly, the coincidences just kept piling up. Fans noticed both artists suddenly leaning into similar lyrics about finding comfort in chaos, and healing from love scars. Still, neither Keith nor Kelsea shut the rumors down or addressed them head-on. Keith kept his interviews locked in on touring and creativity, while Kelsea brushed off questions with polite smiles and moved on. Nicole, meanwhile, stayed cool and composed, no public reaction, no statements, no drama. But sources close to her reportedly said she was aware of the talk, and tired of pretending everything was fine. And that's when fans picked up on a subtle shift. Keith's performances started hitting different, carrying an edge, an emotion that felt way more revealing than anything he said out loud. Because during one concert, a single lyric change sent the rumor mill into absolute overdrive. And that was the night fans started thinking those whispers might actually be legit. Section 6, the lyrics that sparked it all. It went down on stage, a moment that might have flown right past casual listeners, but totally electrified fans who knew the backstory. During a recent live performance, Keith Urban switched up a lyric from one of his most iconic love songs. The original line, "Loving you was my salvation," suddenly turned into, "Playing with fire was my salvation." The crowd froze for a second. Then boom, social media blew up almost instantly, with fans flooding comment sections and forums with theories. Was it just a coincidence? A creative remix? Or something deeper, guilt, temptation, maybe even a confession? Clips from the performance went viral fast, pulling in thousands of views within hours. Some people said it was just artistic expression, no big deal. Others were convinced it was a coded message. Even entertainment reporters couldn't ignore it. Articles started popping up breaking down every word, pointing out that the lyric change happened right after rumors of his growing connection with Kelsea started spreading online. Keith didn't explain a thing. He brushed off questions in post-show interviews and simply said, "Music speaks how it wants to." But fans weren't buying that. For a lot of them, this moment sealed it. His heart, and maybe his inspiration, had shifted somewhere new. Meanwhile, insiders claimed Nicole heard about the lyric change almost immediately. One source said she was caught off guard, but chose not to react publicly. Because for someone who built her life on elegance and restraint, Nicole wasn't about to fight with words, especially when silence could say way more. But that silence wasn't going to last forever. Because not long after that concert, things reportedly took a serious turn behind closed doors. A moment that changed everything for good. Section 7. Nicole's quiet reaction. When news of the lyric change reached Nicole Kidman, people close to her said she didn't snap or make a scene. That's never been her vibe. Nicole has always leaned into quiet strength instead of public confrontation. According to People magazine, she focused on keeping life as normal as possible for her children while carefully navigating the storm building behind the scenes. Insiders described her as heartbroken but composed, determined not to let the world see her pain. Privately, though, friends said Nicole had already started connecting the dots. She wasn't the type to believe rumors right away, but when the same stories kept resurfacing from different sources, her intuition started whispering what her heart didn't want to hear. Keith's name was being linked to someone else, and the timing was impossible to ignore. Even so, Nicole took the high road. She refused to say anything negative about Keith in interviews or statements, telling close friends she didn't want their children to grow up reading bitterness. But her silence spoke loud. Every public appearance, every composed smile, every graceful red carpet wave, carried an energy of quiet defiance. Some fans even noticed her tone shifting in recent interviews, where she said things like, "Sometimes peace means walking away from what you can't fix." A lot of people took that as a subtle nod to her heartbreak. But silence can only hold for so long before it becomes a message all on its own. And soon, whispers started spreading that Nicole's calm exterior hid a private moment that changed everything. Because whatever happened behind closed doors left everyone stunned. Section 8. The alleged confrontation. Rumors say Nicole eventually decided to confront Keith, not out of rage, but because she needed clarity. According to multiple entertainment insiders, she had seen or heard something that didn't sit right, possibly messages or gestures that hinted at emotional closeness with Kelsea Ballerini. There's no confirmed proof of what exactly triggered it, but several Nashville sources claimed the tension between them hit a breaking point in private. Keith reportedly denied any wrongdoing, describing his relationship with Kelsea as strictly professional. But for Nicole, it wasn't about hard evidence, it was about instinct. After 19 years together, she knew Keith's patterns, his tone, his emotional shifts. And that distance, she felt, had grown way too wide to ignore. Friends later said that conversation was when Nicole realized the marriage couldn't be fixed. Not because of one single moment, but because of everything that led there, the nights apart, the unspoken doubts, the cold silences between two people who were once inseparable. Even then, Nicole handled it with grace. No public accusations. No explosive interviews. She simply closed that chapter the way she always has, with dignity. But for fans watching from the outside, that quiet ending only deepened the mystery. What did she discover that made her walk away for good? And was Keith really as innocent as he claimed? Those questions lingered long after the separation announcement, especially when new images and appearances started surfacing that made the story impossible to ignore. Because just weeks later, Keith and Kelsea were spotted together again, and this time, the cameras caught everything. Quick reminder, don't miss the next reveal. Tap subscribe now and stay locked in for every new truth. Section 9. Keith and Kelsea's public appearances. In the weeks following the separation, the rumor mill went absolutely wild. People who once mourned the end of Nicole and Keith's love story suddenly found themselves watching Keith's every move like hawks. And one name kept popping up over and over again: Kelsea Ballerini. Before long, folks noticed that Keith and Kelsea were showing up at a lot of the same places: country music events, studio sessions, industry hangouts, sometimes just days apart. Coincidence? Maybe. But people couldn't help noticing how comfortable they seemed around each other. It wasn't loud or over the top, but it was there. Low-key, easy, and honestly, a little too close for comfort. Things really blew up at a Nashville industry mixer when a photo of Keith and Kelsea laughing together went viral. Both of them brushed it off, calling it nothing more than a friendly chat, but yeah, the internet wasn't buying it. Not even a little. People kept saying their vibe felt way too natural, way too familiar, especially considering the timing. Soon enough, entertainment outlets were dropping headlines like Keith and Kelsea's friendship raises eyebrows post-split. Still, neither Keith nor Kelsea confirmed anything. Keith's team stressed that he was focusing on music and family, while Kelsea's representatives made it clear she was not romantically involved with anyone. But even with all that, the little things kept fueling the rumors: a shared playlist here, a backstage video there, even a wink exchanged onstage during a joint appearance. And through all of this, Nicole stayed completely silent. No interviews about the divorce. No comments. Nothing. Instead, she poured herself into her upcoming film. And funny enough, that silence just made people talk even more. Because sometimes, it's not about what people say, it's about what they don't explain. And while everyone else debated and speculated, Nicole's silence started to feel less like acceptance, and more like a quiet revelation. Section 10. Nicole's subtle exposure. If Nicole Kidman wasn't ready to speak out directly, she was definitely ready to show how she felt. Her social media suddenly shifted in tone, more thoughtful, more cryptic, and honestly, kind of calculated. In one post, she shared a photo of a sunset with the caption, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them." And yeah, people went wild. The comments flooded in, with many convinced it was a subtle message aimed straight at Keith. Around the same time, Nicole stepped onto the red carpet wearing her wedding ring for the first time since the separation, but here's the twist: it was on a different hand. That image spread like wildfire, with thousands of comments dissecting the symbolism and hidden meaning behind it. Even when she was promoting her latest project, her words hit differently. When asked about personal growth, she said, "Sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that free you." She didn't have to spell it out. People got it. Loud and clear. According to reports from people, those close to Nicole encouraged her to stay graceful and let time reveal the truth. And that's exactly what she did. By barely saying anything at all, she somehow said everything. Online discussions quickly framed her as the woman who exposed the truth without ever naming names. People praised her dignity, especially when compared to the chaos swirling around Keith and the rumored connection. When you put all the pieces together, the silence, the quotes, the perfectly timed appearances, it becomes obvious that Nicole didn't need to raise her voice to make her point. Because sometimes, exposure doesn't come from words, it comes from poise. And what she revealed without ever speaking completely shifted the narrative. Section 11. What it all really means. When you lay everything out, the distance, the timing, the lyrical changes, and Kelsea's sudden presence, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore. Still, no one can say for sure what really went down behind closed doors. There's no concrete proof of an affair, just whispers, coincidences, and a trail of emotional breadcrumbs that line up a little too neatly. People online are still split right down the middle. Some believe Keith and Kelsey's connection was totally innocent, just two artists leaning on each other during a rough chapter. Others are convinced it was the final spark that ended Nicole and Keith's marriage for good. The truth? It probably lives somewhere in that messy gray area, where friendship blends into emotion, and loyalty gets blurry when timing is off. For Nicole, this chapter seems to have sparked a quiet transformation. She's no longer protecting an image or playing the Hollywood game. Instead, she's leaning into authenticity, showing that even heartbreak can turn into empowerment. Keith's public image has shifted too. He keeps performing and releasing music, but listeners have noticed a more introspective edge in his songs, like he's processing way more than he lets on. And Kelsey? She's stayed professional, but the non-stop online chatter has thrown her into an uncomfortable spotlight. She's learning, maybe the hard way, that fame and rumors tend to walk hand in hand. One thing is crystal clear: this story isn't just about scandal. It's about human fragility, tough choices, and how fast perception can reshape reality. And for those still following closely, one burning question remains: will anyone ever tell the full truth? Section 12. Conclusion. The aftermath. Months later, the dust still hasn't fully settled. Nicole Kidman has stepped back into the spotlight looking stronger, calmer, and more at peace than ever. Her recent appearances show a woman who's moved beyond heartbreak, someone who found power in silence. People praise her for handling everything with class, calling her the definition of grace under pressure. Keith Urban has stayed on the road, continuing his tour while dodging personal questions and letting his music do the talking. Those who attend his shows say the performances feel heavier now, more emotional, more reflective. Whether intentional or not, it's clear this chapter left a mark on him. As for Kelsea Ballerini, she's chosen to keep her head down and focus on her career while the media noise slowly dies down. Supporters rally behind her, saying she shouldn't be defined by rumors she never addressed. In the end, what began as whispers of betrayal turned into a story about resilience, reinvention, and the cost of living life in the public eye. Nicole's quiet strength reminded everyone that exposure doesn't always mean shouting. Sometimes, it's the calm confidence of knowing the truth and moving forward anyway. And while the world may never know exactly what happened between these three, the takeaway is clear: fame magnifies flaws, love tests loyalty, and silence can be the loudest form of closure. So what do you think? Was this all just coincidence and speculation, or did Nicole Kidman's quiet actions reveal something deeper? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe, because this story is far from over. Eyes fire.